Good evening and welcome to the news. For his bravery during the Second World War, Captain Clément Marc Jumeau was honored with a Croix de Guerre medal. It was his family who accepted the medal on the occasion of the 80th anniversary of the D-Day, the day the Allied forces, the British and American military troops, landed on the coast of Normandy, France, to fight against the Nazi German forces that had invaded France during the Second World War. The French ambassador, the British deputy commissioner, and the U.S. chargé d'affaires participated in a mass at St. Paul's Cathedral in Victoria and in a ceremony at the cenotaph at the Montfleury Cemetery. Records are not clear, but according to sources, there were a little more than 100 Seychellois who participated in the D-Day event and the war itself. British Deputy Commissioner Matthew Harper reflected on the bravery on the soldiers on that day.
No one could be certain what it would bring. No one could know the outcome of the most ambitious amphibious and airborne assault in all of human history. And as the sun rose that morning, not one of the troops on the landing craft approaching the shores of Normandy, not one of the pilots in the skies above knew whether they would still be alive when it set again. Now, in the past 24 hours, you may have seen the start of the D-Day commemorations in the UK and in France. But these commemorations are not nostalgia, not some reliving of past glories. They represent an understanding of the price of peace and why we must hold on to the lessons learnt to preserve that peace. To understand why sons, brothers, husbands and fathers gave of themselves with courage, overcoming their personal fears and finding the strength to do what was asked of them. Many, very, very many, paid the ultimate price. So, if one day can be said to determine the fate of generations to come, in France, in Britain, in Europe, and of course here in Seychelles, that day was D-Day.
The Institute for Early Childhood Development, IECD, is hosting a 3-day regional workshop on the development of early childhood care and education. 18 representatives from the African continent are participating in the program. The United Nations Educational and Scientific Organization, or UNESCO, and its Office for East and West Africa are the facilitators of the workshop in collaboration with the IECD, which has been recognized by UNESCO as a Category 2 Center for Early Childhood Development, Care and Education. The IECD has launched its website, which will facilitate collaboration amongst its partners. Addressing guests and participants at the meeting, IECD CEO said the meeting would help African countries discover ways to develop programs for development, care and early childhood education.
As the CEO of the Seychelles Institute of Early Childhood Development, now a Category 2 institute, the first and only Category 2 institute under the auspices of UNESCO for ACCE in the world, I, together with my dedicated small team, feel deeply honored to organize and host this regional workshop, bringing together partners and stakeholders in the African region and on our continent. Seychelles may be small, with challenges of our own to sustain our resilient and comprehensive ECC system in search of pursuit of quality ECC provision. However, we are determined to share our best practices, knowledge and experiences we have amassed during our transformational journey with you, our dear counterparts on the continent, and also to take the opportunity to learn from your experiences. This regional workshop is a testament of our commitment to transcending borders, not just within our region, but globally, and I am confident that it will be a catalyst for meaningful change in early childhood development landscape.
President Wavel Ramkalawan has held talks with the South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol During the talks, Mr. Ramkalawan acknowledged that the two countries had excellent relations and said he hoped bilateral relations would be increased. The South Korean president told Mr. Ramkalawan there were various fields where the two countries could cooperate. They include fisheries and the blue economy. Meanwhile, President Ramkalawan has delivered a speech at a business summit held alongside the Korea-Africa gathering in South Korea. The meeting sought to promote cooperation between South Korea and Africa in responding to climate change and to work towards carbon neutrality. The Seychelles Revenue Commission has officially launched its facility for customs services. The e-payment service is accessible via email and WhatsApp at any time and day at the convenience of customers. To gain access to online payment facility, one must have firstly been advised by customs or their preferred courier agent of a consignment value between 3,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees or a customs declaration bill of entry required payment. One must email a copy of their identification card, pending slip, contact details comprising of both email address, phone and WhatsApp number, copies of invoices, plus freight details to register for e-payment.
This new digitalized payment method will complement others we currently have in place. It is anticipated it will be the most efficient and effective method of payment introduced at Customs Division. It will enable clients to make payment for their bills of entry or customs duty, taxes, and any other fees and charges due at the comfort of their home or businesses. Additionally, it will save clients the trouble of having to queue up at the cashier, as is the case today. It is thanks to the collaboration with the EU through its funding under the 11th EDF that this development has been possible.
At independent schools, students are learning more on Britannica Education. This is an online encyclopedia with a series of books of references.
You can go into the article itself.
51 students from S2 and S4 classes of the Independent Secondary School have attended a training sessions to learn more about the Britannica Education Program. This training has been ongoing for the past 3 years and has been spreading around in various schools, both public and private. The Senior Business Development Manager for the Britannica Education, Professor Luc Sanders, stated that this program started with the teachers at first and has later shown a positive impact on the students.
We're based in London, but we started this relationship with the Seychelles, and now it's into the second full year of operation, where we're working with all of the schools, the students and the teachers across the country to roll out the Britannica School Access with the ongoing support as mentioned. So of course are going to be the real champions of Britannica.
As for Clara Helen, she stated that this is a very interesting program and it will make her life much easier when doing research about various subjects.
The men have explained this. You can type any questions about any topics. So I think it's a very good thing for students who are struggling, especially in many different subjects. So it will help us, it will break it down, it will give us notes. It won't only help independent school, it will help state school, it will help international school, and this will help us to win many competitions and things like that.
Sasha Pillay, a young student from Secondary 2, gave an overview of how this training will help her in her studies.
We require a lot of meanings and a lot of source of information, especially history. So just knowing that I can just search that up, go into history, and it's also specific, I can sum up the information, turn it to my level, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, my reading skill, it's gonna be so helpful. And I'm only in S2 now, and I know when I get to S5, A-level, and college, it's gonna be so useful, so helpful.
This session will continue for the coming years, and the Britannica team in London is focusing on moving forward by involving students from various other institutions.
Thank you for watching the news. I will be back at 8 p.m. With the news in Creole, so stay tuned.